The dog that's passing away is Danny Brown. We got him as a 2-year-old. We rescued him and we fostered him. And
Oh,
we've had him for 11 years. Yeah, he's about 13. He's old. And unfortunately, we had to make that decision and make that call. So,
huh.
you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. Who knows when it comes to dog ownership? And then we have one more dog left who's a 15-year-old. And who knows? We're
Pet
going to be here again in just a few more weeks or months,
pet
probably.
pet ownership is very much, it's like family. They become your
Yeah.
family, and
And
it's
then you
got to
have
be
to
rough.
make the decision whether they live or die. That's the difference between a real family member and an animal.
Yeah. Although to be sure, there are certainly situations where
Yeah,
I know with my mother, we had to make that
you do
decision
have to
as
make
well.
that decision when they're on the
It's
ventilator.
not
Gosh,
good.
yeah, it's
I
hard.
don't. I don't like it. I don't like being human. Anyway.
Oh, and this week it sucked, man.
Oh my
What a
God.
shitty week.
And then this fucking movie, I was like,
And then this movie, I know, on top of everything. I mean, this movie kind of is a cap off for this week. You want to talk about what this movie is that we saw?
it's not the right kind of cap off, but here we go.
Hey, you want to watch some TV or something?
Skip it. Well, I'm getting ready to watch a video.
Really? What?
Nothing but foul language and toilet humor.
I'm disgusted and repulsed and I can't look away.
I need these things! I need these things! Tell me, do you want to go? Where it's covered in all the color lights.
Oh, no way. No way, Jose.
This just in, go to hell!
This conversation can serve no purpose anymore.
Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it!
Hello, friends and listeners. Welcome to a brand new episode of Watch Skip Plus. We are a movie review podcast with a lifestyle twist. And so I am your host, Cupcake, also known as Jose. I'm joined by my co-host, Mike, also known as the WillDaBeast. And our lifestyle twist is that after we review a new streaming or theatrical film, we also have a bonus review, and that can be on anything. Mike, it's been a week. It
Yeah, it's
really
been a week.
has. And after that week, now we have this crazy movie. This crazy,
Yeah.
deep allegory of a film from Stephen King. Yeah, yeah. What are we
This is
reviewing?
Well, we're not reviewing Jill Scott's The Long Walk. We are reviewing the film The Long Walk,
Yes.
based off of a Stephen King film, directed by the guy who brought us the Hunger Games movies, and written by a young and very talented J.T. Mollner, which I think we're going to talk about him a lot in the future. This man
Let's
is
hope anyway.
spewing in talent. My God.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And let me just say, I think we all know we're in for something heavy when the tagline for this movie is walk or die.
Yeah.
Whew. Okay. So, starting with Below the Line, as you mentioned, our director is Francis Lawrence. So I didn't realize this, not that it matters, but he was actually born in Austria. He's not Austrian, he has American parents. But I believe he has a film production degree from Loyola Marymount University. He joined up a production company and was known for his sort of innovative uh, scripts for music videos and for commercials. And so he has directed a ton of music videos. I think he even won a Grammy for Lady Gaga's
Wow.
Bad Romance video.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
yeah. He has done music videos for everybody from Britney Spears, Black Eyed Peas, Green Day, Garbage, you name it, Justin Timberlake, Shakira, Gwen Stefani, all of them, the Goo Goo Dolls. I love the Goo Goo Dolls. Of course I do. Um, I didn't realize this, but his feature debut was in fact 2005's Constantine, which is one
Yeah.
of my all-time favorite movies. I don't know. I've seen that movie probably as many times as Showgirls. I absolutely love Constantine. I hear he's doing a sequel. After that, he would go on to direct I Am Legend. That was a pretty big hit, even if the CGI was a little wonky. He took sojourns into drama with Water for Elephants, as well as pilots for television shows as well. There was even a Black Mirror episode that he had directed as well. Um, Probably best known, as you said, for the Hunger Games films. He did not direct the first, but he came on for Catching Fire, which was the second one, and then obviously he directed the rest of them. And I think that's probably what he's going to be most known for. He even did the prequel, whatever it's called. I'm going to butcher it. What did I call it? Snakes and Songs or something?
Yeah,
A
Ballad of
song.
Songbirds and Snakes, I think.
There you go. You got it. And then he also directed, starring Jennifer Lawrence, Red Sparrow, which I am obsessed with that movie. I've also seen that a ton of times because I love it. It's so raw and just crazy. I don't know. Jennifer
Mhm.
Lawrence is fantastic in it, and so is Joel Edgerton. He's in a Speedo in the film, folks, if you are interested. Uh, what do you think about Francis Lawrence? Do you like him? I think some people think he's maybe a little too commercial. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I do like him, and I like his approach to commercial fare. He did a little film on Netflix that most people don't like that I've watched several times with my kids called Slumberland. I think
Oh, that's right.
he's got a really good working relationship with Jason Momoa. They did like a television series together. But I mean, he does have a good job of taking something that's very popular and kind of making it a little bit dark, a little bit more grounded and more set in reality. Kind of what he did made it better. Some will
As
say
much
that
as it could be said in
that
reality.
yeah, you're right. But I mean, most aren't going to say that Slumberland is making the story of what is it, Nemo, that's based off of any better. But it's a different, unique take, and I thought it deserves more praise than most people give it. But yeah, he's a very good visual director.
Okay, moving on to our DP, Yo Willems. So like
Hmm.
Willem Dafoe, not William, and Joe, not Joe, but Yo. So he is Belgian. I'm sorry, Belgium. I'm just gonna say it. Belgium is like the land of like incredibly beautiful people. I have no like New Zealand, like
Yeah, I was about to say, I thought that was New
Croatia.
Zealand.
No, I mean it's just like Croatia, New Zealand, and the Ukraine. Like everybody's just fucking beautiful. I have no idea what's going on there, or the DNA, what's happening. But Yo Williams is Belgian. He collaborates a lot with two directors. So we mentioned Francis Lawrence. He shot practically all of Francis Lawrence's films, as well as those TV projects that I talked about. So he shot Gotham, the opening
Mhm,
pilot for the television series Touch. And then that Black Mirror episode was called Plaything. And then for David Slade,
mhm.
he was the DP for Hard Candy, which we talked about on the last episode.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, it's been such a week that I haven't even released that yet. It's going to come out later today. Um, uh, yes.
Mhm.
He also shot the film London for Hunter Richards. I believe that was with Chris Evans and Jessica Biel. A great dramatic performance by Chris Evans. I've mentioned that on the show before. And then also for David Slade, he did the Awake pilot and 3 episodes for American Gods.
Yeah.
What do you think about Yo Williams? And I mean, obviously, I don't think you can think about Francis Lawrence without thinking about Yo Williams. So it's obviously a really great synthesis.
2007 was a great year for Yo Williams. 30 Days of Night, he kind of took the visuals of that graphic novel and brought it to life. Rocket Science, another great film, a great book that turned into a great film, which he was able to bring a very down home, grounded 70s look to. Again, he has such a good relationship with this director because he really does have a way of bringing kind of a sheen to life, like a sheen to the darkness, I guess. He really is a great visual director or
Yeah,
cinematographer. So even stuff as glossy as Confessions of a Shopaholic
I
looks
know.
good. And he even
I
has
love that
that
movie.
realistic sheen to it. It doesn't have that kind of early 2000s shine. It's got this kind of almost realistic grit to it. So he's brilliant at what he does.
I love that he works closely like with one or two directors, but
Hmm.
as brilliant as Willems is, I'm a little depressed that there aren't more movies on his filmography, but at the same time, I think if you know your craft and you love this stuff, it can take a lot out of you doing movies and shooting movies. So,
Oh yeah.
all right, our music. We're gonna gloss over him very quickly. Jeremiah Frades. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. He's from the exotic country of New Jersey.
Hmm.
He's now an Italian citizen, by the way, because he married an Italian woman, and they live in Turin now. Turin, the Shroud of Turin, right? Like
Hmm.
Jesus on the okay. Anyway, so he's from Ramsey, New Jersey. I had no idea about this. He co-founded the Lumineers.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, he's the
yeah,
stomp
and
clap king.
he in fact is the stomp. Oh my goodness, the stomp clap. Now I'm never gonna listen to the Lumineers and not hear stomp clap. Uh, but yeah, I had no idea. Our friend who we wanted to be on the show, Fake Shamp, I think he voiced some concern about the score, about this not being a good score. I, I loved it. I thought it was
You did. I'm kind of
very
with him,
appropriate. I
but
dug it. I dug it.
we'll dig more into the score. But yeah,
I think we
I kind of liked moments of it, but
sure.
there's other moments where I kind of wish he went more organic. But we'll talk more.
Oh, I see you. I see you. Okay. And then last but not least, let's just dive into this gentleman who please Google pictures, by the way. He's so hot. He's like a hot daddy. JT Mollner, also known as
Uh,
Jeffrey Tyler Mollner. Um, so we had actually discussed him before because we reviewed Strange Darling on Watch Skip Plus. And so
yep.
Mollner's directorial or I'm sorry, his sophomore directorial effort, Strange Darling, he wrote and directed that. And I don't know why that movie isn't a bigger hit. I mean, to be sure, it is a hit and people have talked about it,
Yeah,
but
amongst our audience and
of course,
our
our
friends
community,
online,
yeah.
yeah, they very much loved it.
But I think it's not as I don't know. It hasn't put him on the map. We're hoping that this movie does put him on the map. So he did write this film. His directorial debut was 2016's Outlaws and
Awesome.
Angels, which
Yeah.
I also hear is pretty fantastic. You did you see that at the Sundance?
I didn't see it at Sundance. I saw it after when it was
Okay.
released later that year. I think it was released in 2017 or 16. Anyways, it kind of shocked people because it was slated in the midnight section and it was a Western, but it fit it. It was a very
Oh,
gory,
genre,
very,
right?
very gritty, very genre-esque. Yeah,
Okay.
it felt almost like a modern day retelling of like a 70s Italian kind of you know how they kind of made bloody horror-esque westerns. That's what it felt like to me.
Yeah. I mean, listen, as much as I'm like JT Molnar, get inside me. I have not seen Outlaws and Angels, but
Oh, it's really,
I think I'm
yeah,
gonna
you
put
need
that on
to.
my list. So the fun thing about Molnar is he has a connection with your vacation wonderland of Las Vegas.
Yeah.
So, first of all, let me start with this. He has an aunt, Deanna Molnar, and in the 70s in LA, she ran around with the likes of Jack Nicholson, Roman Polanski, and then Molnar was introduced to films of Polanski, Stanley Kubrick, Federico Fellini. So he very much loves movies and he wanted to go to UCLA, but his older brother had actually gone there. And so I think his family was like, we can't get two filmmakers. Okay. We just can't do it. But the fun thing is he's actually an actor. And so in 2005 in Vegas at the Rio Hotel, he was the lead in Tony and Tina's Wedding. And then he left to pursue a career in acting and it just didn't go the way that he wanted. But the other connection to Vegas is he is famous for what's called the Gates of Hell haunted house attraction in Las Vegas. So he and his family actually started that. It's an R-rated haunted house, and he actually takes time each year to go out there and help run it, help do new reiterations for it, and scare the living crap out of people. And so Molnar did write the script for this. He's written shorts before. You mentioned we are going to continue to talk about Mollner. Uh,
Yeah.
Tell me about that. I mean, just based on this and Strange Darling and Outlaws and Angels, what's your feeling on him?
I think he's a phenomenal writer. I mean, just 3 films in, the guy can really write. Directing, I think, yeah, it's getting there, but man, his writing, his screenplays are just chef's kiss. So yeah,
Yeah.
he is such a good writer. I mean, we were able to sit there, we'll get more into it through this film of just people talking, pretty much walking and talking for an hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's pretty freaking amazing how he's able to make that happen. So he has a way with words, and he has a way with structuring the way that stories are told. Again, that's kind of the new thing. The new talent coming out now. It's not how it's kind of taking the way that things and how stories are told and twisting that. It doesn't mean we're getting new stories. It doesn't mean we're getting, because how many times can we regurgitate the same human feelings, right? But it's the way in which they're told, and he has a way of telling stories in a way that it's pretty unique. I think we're
Nice.
we're going to see him more, and I think he's got a Oscar coming his way if he can keep writing like this. Honestly, guy is talented.
I think the script du jour of the moment is non-linear storytelling, and
Hmm.
definitely Strange Darling had that. And I think I actually, if you go back to the episode, it might have driven me crazy because sometimes these not these non-linear narratives can kind of drive me insane. I'm looking at you, Weapons. I loved you, but I'm looking at you.
But then this film is very different because it's literally linear
It's
as you can get.
chronological. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
completely linear. I mean, I think we get one little flashback pretty much, and but for the most part, this is pretty much linear storytelling 101. So this just proves that the man is not just a one-trick pony. He can create and craft dialogue and situations and take a well-liked, which is why I wish we had our friend here who could talk about the book more, a well-liked book. I do know enough about the book from talking to our friend Jeremy and other people who have read it. It is one
Yeah.
of those few blind sites in, because I've read a lot of Stephen King. This is one of those blind sites I have not yet to read. His Bachman stuff is hit or miss for me. I've read Thinner, which again, hit or miss. I'm a big fan, and I used to read all of his stuff. And one of the first big books that I read was Cujo, and I think I want to say 5th or 6th grade. I read that
Oh my
a little
God.
bit.
What?
6th grade, I think it was.
What is Jesus?
My
Well,
mom was like,
start with
which
what?
book can we start you with? Because she was like, let's see, what Stephen King can we start you with? Well, this is just about a rabid dog. You could probably do
It's about
this.
a fun dog.
And I was like, okay.
Wow.
My mama, rest
I'm
in peace. She loved
I'm
Stephen King
kidding.
and she
I'm
loved the
kidding.
macabre, but
Yeah, but thank you
yeah.
for mentioning that because I completely glossed over the fact that this is based off of a Stephen King novel written in 1978.
Well,
Ha.
he started it in the 60s
Yeah,
during the Vietnam War when his friends were getting drafted. So that's kind of what it's about, basically.
or the genesis of that idea. But
Yeah.
also, it's interesting that you mention his Bachman novels because he would revisit this idea of normal citizens in an authoritarian fascist state getting trapped into a game designed for consumer joy in The
Hmm.
Running Man,
Which we're getting another remake
which is
of.
also poised to be remade. But you know what? I think that one's going to hew closer to the novel or what have you.
Yeah.
We should mention that King is an EP on this as well,
Hmm.
and we should also mention that God bless Stephen King. I love him. He's very vocal on X. Um, you know, we talked about uh the assassination that occurred in your state this past
Yeah.
week. And in, you know, when movies come out, sometimes there are events that happen that may or may not affect the box office in much the same way that, like, say, you know, the third episode of Hannibal got preempted and it never aired because there was a school shooting.
Hmm.
And so, you know, that happened, and then King stepped in it on X this past weekend and had to apologize. Let's hope that doesn't affect the box office for this. But meanwhile, that happens, and here we have a story about people in a contest in a authoritarian regime that are, for the, joy of consumers, and it really does have something to say about our society. So anyway, getting heavy, already getting heavy, and we haven't even started our review. So
Yeah,
here we go.
it was a heavy week, man, and this
Yeah.
movie really capped that off.
Woo! So here we go. We're gonna dive into the cast. There's a bunch of unknowns, and so I think
Yeah.
the most known that I'm gonna start with, I'm gonna go with obviously Judy Greer plays the mom. It's a short role. Everybody should know her. She's been in practically everything. 13 going on 30, Elizabethtown. She's done drama. She's done horror. Good Boy, I think she was in recently, but not the. Was that what it was called? Good Boy?
Yeah.
It was like a horror film that was straight
With the dog. Yeah.
yeah, and now there's another Good Boy coming out, and I'm like, okay, I think I already saw this. I didn't, or whatever. She was in Cursed, probably
I
one of
love
the
her in Curse.
one of the loopiest, craziest Kevin Williamson, Wes Craven concoctions I have ever seen
Oh,
in my entire life.
one of my
Um,
favorite hot messes ever. I love the hell out
God,
of that.
man, and I desperately want to see the actual cut. Someone please release it because what came out on screen was like cinematic doo-doo. Do you like
Yeah.
Judy Greer? Do you love her? I love her.
I love her. I have for gosh, decades. I mean, yeah, she came up as this cutie little redhead back in the early 2000s and was in a lot of stuff. And of course, she's very close to my age. So I always found her very attractive.
Yeah.
Like just have watched her grow, and she's become one of these character actresses that just her face alone and her showing up brings me a smile on my face. I'm like, oh, there's Judy. Oh,
Yeah.
she's just like this warm, like hug, cinematic hug every time she shows up, no matter what she does. And when
Yeah.
she popped up in this, I was like, oh, honey, don't make me cry. Oh, honey, don't
I
make me
know.
cry.
I know.
Gosh, she was good.
Moving on to our other most recognizable, or maybe not, Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker himself. He of the grand soap opera, space opera, Star Wars, made a return in later films. Was it The Last of the Jedis or whatever that he was in? I can't remember.
Yep. He was
Yeah,
in the last, yeah. I
The
think he
Last
was in the
Jedi.
last two, right? I can't
I
remember.
think so. I think so. Obviously, couldn't escape the orbit, haha, pun intended, of that film. Honestly, if you were to ask me what other films has Mark Hamill been in, I'd be like, I don't know. I mean, he's had a theater career, right? Recently was that crazy Burt Kreischer movie that we fucking reviewed for
Yeah,
Watch It Plus, and I was like, I don't know why we're doing this because it's not, yeah. But he's done a lot of voiceover work.
yep, that's his key there. The Joker
Yeah,
is just, he is the Joker to me. His voice has become such a part of the Joker over the past 15 years at this point. He's so good. So I
yeah.
love when he shows up in those animated movies as the Joker.
But he's cropped up in Sushi Girl, Brigsby Bear, The
Oh
Machine.
yeah.
We already mentioned that, but he's also done voiceover work for Chucky in Child's Play.
Yeah, he was the new
That was
Chucky.
yeah, that was the reboot, which is much better than people expect, folks. There you
Yeah, it
go.
is.
Avatar: The Last Bender, Spider-Man the animated series as well. We should mention that he did have, I think, a car accident, which did in fact change his face. He tells horror stories about how,
Ugh,
like, the plastic surgeons back then, they literally had a headshot of his and were trying to be like, I think this goes here. I'm sorry, I'm making light of it, but yeah, and
awful.
he never looked the same after that. I still think he's kind of a good looking guy. I Mark Hamill, I do you. Um,
When he came on, did you not think that he was like tuned into the spirit of Brian Cox? I seriously thought it was Brian Cox for
yes,
like the first 10 minutes until I was like,
yeah,
that's not Brian Cox. And I remembered, oh, and I heard the voice, and there was one moment where I heard him doing what was almost like a sinister Joker vibe, and I was like, oh, duh, this is Mark Hamill. I remember. But he
yeah.
pulled like a Brian Cox impersonation off him.
I got a Brian Cox meets R. Lee Ermey
Oh, yeah.
from Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah.
Like I
From FMJ,
totally.
yeah.
Totally got it. And then the other most recognizable, I think, well, there's going to be two, but the first that I'm going to kind of mention is Charlie Plummer. I've been a
Hmm.
huge fan of this kid. Personally, I think that, unfortunately, I think Plummer's kind of losing his hair, and so I think of Jamie Campbell Bower, another actor, a British actor, who started to
Uh-huh.
have like the receding hairline, and then you could see his lead roles, which were very promising, going down and down and down and
Oh,
down.
I know.
And
He's
so,
good too.
unfortunately, Charlie Plummer, love him, great actor. You'll know him from things like All the Money in the World, King Jack. What was the one about spontaneous combustion?
Spontaneous.
Okay, it was called Spontaneous.
I love
Um,
that movie so
oh
much.
yeah, absolutely. It's so good. And then I think, what was the other? Oh, Moonfall. Jesus
Oh yeah,
Christ.
that's a
I
wild
was
one.
like, oh my God. I'm like, Charlie, I'm so happy you got in a big budget film, but why did it have to be Moonfall?
Moonfall.
My God.
Wow.
Speaking of which, Patrick Wilson was in that.
Yes, he was.
Oh, that the hot boy has fallen. So, yeah, but I love Charlie Plummer. Your feelings on him? Do you?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's spectacular. I mean, he comes from that kind of independent film world, so he's really good. I've loved watching him kind of grow up on screen.
yeah,
And
yeah,
he's done some recent indie stuff like Wildflower and The Return. Good Lord. He's just really good.
yeah. Love that guy. And then the other recognizable person, if only for the fact that he is, and we're not going to say the NB word, we're going to say celluloid royalty.
He is.
Is Cooper Alexander Hoffman. He is the son of Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah.
Um, I was getting, I was getting very like teary-eyed when his character in this film is talking about his father and how his father passed away and how his father was teaching him all these things about culture and books. And I just was like seeing Philip Seymour Hoffman in my head, and I was like getting ready to like
Yeah.
cry. Um, Hoffman's father passed away when he was 10, but many will know him. Apparently, he didn't really want to, acting was never a thing for him, and he just kind of like, grew into it, I guess. But we will know him from 2021's Licorice Pizza, directed by Paul Thomas Anderson. PTA had worked with his father on Boogie Nights, and then The Master, which is Cooper's one of Cooper's favorite performances of his father. So he's not been in a lot. I think 2023 something called Wildcat, which I didn't see. It was a Flannery O'Connor biopic. It was directed by Ethan Hawke, and then of course he was in Saturday Night, which I still had
Oh,
not seen.
oh,
It's
you
like Dick
haven't seen it
Emerson.
yet?
I haven't. Is he good in it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I think I definitely need to see that. And then something else had come out on streaming. Um, that I thought he was in, or am I conflating this with somebody else? It was called Old Guy with Christoph Waltz, where Waltz is teaching him to be like an assassin or something like that.
Yeah, that it
Yeah,
is, he is in that, but I haven't seen it, but it's on my list.
but everybody adores Licorice Pizza.
I did too. I liked
I
it a
had an
lot.
interesting little take on it, but I did enjoy it, and I specifically enjoyed him. And listen, I will just say this. Obviously my type is over 21 and male, like those are the only requirements, but if I do have a type, it's definitely Cooper Hoffman in this. Like I just was like, please marry me.
Yeah.
Pale skin, red hair, kind of chunky, but like good chunky. Like I was,
Yeah. See, at first I thought he was a little miscast when he popped up in this. I was like, and then he goes, I'm about 178. How much are you? And he's like, yeah, I'm about 178. And I'm like,
I was
come
like,
on,
y'all are
Cooper.
not
Cooper, you are
You are
not
not.
178, baby. You are 200, but that's okay.
But it's okay. Chunky is hunky. Also, he takes his shoes off in this. So I was just like, perfect. Please marry me, Cooper Hoffman. Anywho, and then the other, I would say, kind of also recognizable actor who's up and coming, who we are going to be talking a lot about. Mark my words. David Jonsson, British actor,
Yes.
started in television in Britain, BBC, Endeavor, Deep State, Industry, which became a big hit over in the US because it aired on HBO Max. But many will remember him as Andy. I don't want to ruin, although I think it's out now, but Andy was basically the synthetic in Alien Romulus. And boy, did he knock that out of the park. I was like, wow. He would follow that up in the film Bonhoeffer. That is a historical thriller about German theologian and anti-Nazi dissent Dietrich Bonhoeffer. I have not seen that, but man, I love this guy. Just based on this
Yeah.
performance, I'm like, he is going to just take off into the stratosphere from this.
Yeah, he was in a film called Rye Lane. That was at
Oh
Sundance a
yeah,
couple of years ago. That's just kind of a walking, talking romance, very similar to like Richard Linklater's Before Sunset movies. So
yeah.
it's such a great movie. But he's so
Holland
good in
Silver is
that.
her name, yeah. But Rye Lane, that's actually on my watch list. I need to see that.
Yeah, you need to see that. He is so good in that. And then I saw him again in Alien Romulus. I have not seen Bonhoeffer because again, that was released by Angel Studios, so we all thought it was this Christian thing when really it was just purchased by them. So I need to
Yeah,
watch it because I've heard from a lot of people that it's actually really quite good.
got it. But anyway, anybody else in the cast that you want to mention? I mean, I should mention that I think one of the Karate Kid Legends stars is in this as well in a very humorous role, Ben Wang. Um,
Hmm.
and I think Josh Hamilton shows up in this too. I adore Josh Hamilton. I love him. He's a great indie actor. Anybody else you want to mention in the cast?
I just want to mention just because I thought he was kind of stole the show when he was out was Tut Yacht was his name.
Oh yeah, I played
Oh
Victor.
my gosh, is he so good in this? I
Yeah.
had not seen him in anything before, but as that third lead, really, he was the heart and soul. And man, his last scenes were,
Oh,
oof,
heartbreaking, heartbreaking.
man, and he is so good. Yeah, I was blown
Yeah.
away by his performance, and he is definitely someone I'm excited to see. And so I hope his career continues to grow. But yeah, there's a
Yes.
lot of great young actors in this. I
Oh, I
love that.
know.
So
I'm so excited. So British actor Tut Noyat, television series like The Dumping Ground and Heady Feather, and then he appeared in The Witcher Blood Origin. This is his first big movie. So while we're at it, we might as well just mention the other cast member who stands out as well, Joshua Ojic. He is a rising star. He is of, please let me pronounce this correctly. He is of Algonquin, Anishinaabe, Cree heritage and
mm,
hails from the Kitigan, Zibi, Anishinaabe First Nations community. He even does speak some Native American language in this film as well. Um, his other, I think this is his first big thing. He is due to appear in the It Welcome to Derry
mhm.
series. And then I believe Wildhood is something that has cropped up on my radar to see.
Yeah,
It's on
me
my
too.
watch, but I have not seen it, but it looks really, really good. He's one of the young leads in it. So I'm gonna have to get on that. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Spoiler-free thoughts on the Stephen King-based, Francis Lawrence directed, J.T. Mollner screenplay, The Long Walk. Wildebeest, go for it.
Want me to start? All right. Well, we talked about we had kind of a heavy week, and then when it came time for us to watch a film at the end of the week, I almost was like, "Are you sure we shouldn't do this sequel to uh Spinal Tap?" I was like, maybe we should lighten things up with the week we've had,
A little
uh
levity.
but honestly, man, I'm really glad I saw this film this week and the time that I saw it is this movie is powerful. It really did kind of knock me off my boots. I know I talked about being a little bit concerned about this being done by the people that did Hunger Games. I thought this was going to be more twee. This was not twee in any
Yes.
shape or form. This was not like that at all. This is very, very deep, dark, political, and it's satirical as well, but a look at um the reality that life is about dying and life is about death, and we have to enjoy the moments that we have on this earth, what each moment we have, no longer how long we are with the people in this earth. So
Yeah.
really powerful film with a lot of messages, a lot of stories, and a lot of great dialogue. I mean, I talked about it in the beginning, but man, the dialogue in this, especially since we've had the doldrums of August, we've had some pretty poor writing we've seen in some
Yeah.
films. This is not that. The writing in this is absolutely spectacular. I really hope this at least gets a Golden Globe nomination. The writing for this is so good. It's really what brings everything together. You're never spoon-fed exactly what's going on. You're kind of dropped into this world, and through the actions and the look, again, you feel like you're kind of dropped into 1978, 79, which is very clever,
Yeah.
very smart, even though we don't know when or where this takes place. It's like in an apocalyptic, there was something called the Great Big War that kind of changed the way that everything in the country ran after that. And very much like in Hunger Games, you've got this game that's supposed to keep everybody excited and happy. And I'm not sure if the Major is who created this or if he's kind of just helped facilitate it. But the Major, again, played by Mark Hamill, just this figurehead. And I love that he's this figurehead that we don't see, but when we do, he's just scary. But at the same time, he almost seems inhuman. And yeah, of course, there's a great twist that leads one of our characters. The reason why he's there is because of the Major. But man, this is just such
Actually,
a
there's
good
two
movie.
characters
True, there are
that
two.
are there for the
But
major.
this
But
movie, man, it is just so well written. It is so powerful. I cried probably 5 or 6 times.
oh my
I
God, me
was an
too.
emotional mess. I was not expecting to cry in this movie, dude.
I cried
was
three
not
times.
Ah,
3 times.
every
In fact,
time Judy
can
Greer got on, I was
oh my
crying.
God. Can I just say this? I don't know if I'm a mutant or what the fuck was happening, but every time I cried, my glasses fogged up. I was like, what's
No.
happening? Like I was like radiating like, sadness and emotions. But yeah, I cried like 3 or 4 times. It was
And the one thing that I have to talk about is sometimes I kind of feel like I was being forced to cry by the very heavy-handed score. I'm very much with Jeremy that I felt like the score felt and reeked of first-time music score, Hear Me Roar. It should have been
so did you
quieter. I was hoping
okay,
for
you
more
thought it was
stomps,
more
and he
got it.
should have brought a folk vibe. Instead, there's a lot of synth, which sounds like synth orchestra, and it just feels jarring for what we're supposed to be watching and viewing. I kind of wish he would have went more kind of acousticy guitar, um,
Sure.
bulky, which I
Sure.
thought would have fit. Instead, we got this very glossy, over the top, synthetic score that I feel at times kind of hammers home emotions too much and doesn't quite fit the film. But honestly, that is really the only
It's a
negative
minor
thing
quibble. It's a minor
the
quibble.
only negative I
Yeah.
have of the film is that it feels very, very Philip Glass, like in your face, like very heavy handed. So yeah, I
So
mean,
well, so two things that I'm gonna mention here as kind of a follow-up question.
mhm,
If the soundtrack had been less of this sort of like orchestral or synthetic, and it was more folksy, or it knew when to be quiet, do you
yeah.
think that would have overwhelmed the audience? In other words, is this overproduced score that tells you, well, now you should feel something because of the violins? Is that a way to keep the audience at a distance so that they're not overwhelmed emotionally?
It could be. It also felt like they were like he was trying to hold our hands through the emotions too much. It was almost like the music was there to make sure we knew what was happening, almost like these big, loud horror scores that we've
Sure,
gotten
like
used to.
stings and stuff like that. Yeah.
There was a
Yeah.
lot of moments where it was like, oh, I should be emotional. For example, there's a moment when one of our characters gets to see his mother again during the walk, and that gets hit home with this freaking wall of like sound that just hits you so hard. And I was kind of mad that I was crying. I was like, you're forcing me to cry. And because it was
Yeah.
emotional, but it almost felt like too much. Because there are so many moments where you love and care for so many people in this cast that as they are one by one getting picked off in a brutal, you know, fashion, very, you know, almost Dexter-esque in its precision.
Sure. Sure.
Very
Yeah.
precision how they were killed and taken off one by one.
Oh
But
yeah.
man, it It does. I did talk to a friend, Brian Higgins, who feels the opposite of me. He felt like it was too, it was kind
Manufactured.
of, yeah, manufactured emotions and drama 101 and maybe a little bit too cliche and maybe just, again, the wrong time. Unfortunately, I think a lot of people who I've talked to have watched this is like, they either loved it or they didn't, and they kind of blame that on the time that of it. Unfortunately, it's kind of like I was telling everybody in the world because I went and saw Hardball back in 2001. I was like, everyone needs to see this. And it was during, like right at 9/11, and nobody saw it because it came out right during 9/11. But if anything, anybody needed was a cute little movie about kids playing baseball. So again, I think this is a time when we need this movie, not that it's a cute movie about kids playing baseball, but because it's about what's going
There are
on
cute kids.
right now. And we
Yeah.
need to see this. People need to see what happens when an authoritarian government takes over and what it does to the people and the slaves that it makes us all become. So again, masterpiece to me. This is one of the better films of the year. I was absolutely shocked. I thought we were getting some little piece of twee popcorn cinema. Instead, we got a very somber, very dark, very emotional film about grief, life, death, war, and what happens when fascists take over.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So for me, this is a hard watch. Again, this was a great one.
Got it. Um, and then my follow-up question is, without spoiling it, how did you feel about that ending?
Which I know was a deviation from the book, just because I've heard of how it ends. It's just one of those infamous books. If you're a Stephen King fan, whether you've read it or not, you kind of know a lot about it because it's one of his
Yeah.
early books. But I liked the ending. It kind of was that moment of yes, but then you realize the way that it ends and just cuts with the rain coming down on this character. You're like, oh, but that isn't really a yes, is it?
Yes. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Okay. All right. So my spoiler-free thoughts on The Long Walk. Um, yeah, heavy time to be watching a film about an authoritarian regime and people engaged in a contest trying to better themselves, knowing fully well there can only be one, which means the rest of these people that you are talking with and getting to know will be dead, and
Yeah,
only one of you will win. And so like it is very, very heavy. Um, it's a fantastic movie. I mean,
yeah,
first of all, you know, I as somebody who wanted to be a director of photography or a cinematographer, you have actors that are consistently walking constantly. And so there's a little bit of a jarring aspect to this film because the actors are always constantly in motion, right? And in order to put yourself into that situation, like literally their heads are bobbing and they're moving. And, you know, I don't think this was shot digitally. I think it was shot on film. If it was shot digitally, there would have been like blurring, like with their heads and stuff. And so just from a technical standpoint, and I know that they used cranes. They maybe went handheld every now and then. I know that they used drones, but like it's a technical masterpiece for people just walking.
yeah,
Okay. And the thing is like, I'm sure that there's people out there who are like, oh, they're just walking. I could film that in a heartbeat. No, no, you could not. There's a lot
mm-mm.
going on here technically. And so kudos to Yo Willems for just some amazing
Yeah,
cinematography because again, it's great. Um, so I think it would be too easy to point at the Orange Menace and say, oh, this is about that or whatever. Because quite honestly, the origins of this story, as you indicated, were back from, the Vietnam War from like the 70s or whatever. And the reason why I say it'd be really easy to do that is because, I mean, Hamil has been a very vocal
mhm.
opponent of Trump and his actions. Just dial up X, you can see it. There was a part of me that was like, oh, I kind of feel like maybe he's channeling the Orange Menace here. And you hear a little bit of that because there's this kind of showmanship to the major and this sort of like, you're doing it for your country, you're doing it, whatever, knowing full well he is gleefully waiting to see whose brains get blown out,
Yeah, oh,
right?
yeah,
And that we don't know this for sure, but once the winner of this thing is crowned, I'm sure maybe there's some kind of promotion or something like that that he gets, right? But again, I think it'd be easy to point to that and say, oh, it's a Republican allegory, because quite honestly, as you noted before, there's only hints of what's happened to the U.S. There's a Great War, which I'm sure you
Hmm.
could think is like, oh, they're talking a civil war. No, there was just a war, okay? And then obviously there is some kind of authoritarian regime. We don't know anything about the president. We
Yep.
don't know if they're a
Nothing.
fascist or whatever. But what we do come to understand is that there is definitely illegality over free speech. That is certainly mentioned here.
Yep.
There is book banning. There are things that you are not allowed to teach your children.
Yep.
So we do know about that. And as I mentioned, this is obviously an allegory for life, right? This long walk. There's no finish line. How do we as humans, you know, reconcile the things that we aspire to, the things that we want to do versus, and the common good versus the things that are put upon us, our
Yeah.
government, our laws? What happens when we want to say things, but we're told you can't say those things?
Yeah.
And so one of my big takeaways from this very, very dramatic film is that, humans are going to human. Like we've got
Yeah.
this tension between the common good and working as a collective so that we see the society that we want to see versus our emotions and how we really feel about stuff, right? It's left brain versus right brain, this end goal that we often picture for ourselves or even happen in small moments, like, just what's my week going to be like? What do I want from my career? What do I want out of a mate? Sometimes you get it and it's not always what you thought it was. And that's just life, right? I mean, I feel like life's cruelest trick is looking back, even me as I'm 50, looking back and being like, God, I wish I had done that, and having these regrets. You know what I mean? Or maybe
Yeah.
even looking back on your deathbed when death is there and being like, oh shit, I got it all wrong. I should have done this, or that's what I should have done. And unfortunately, that's life's cruel trick, is that you don't learn these big things about how you should comport yourself, or how I should have done this, how I should have been in a relationship, how I should have
Yeah.
been in my career until you've actually experienced the hardship itself,
Yep.
right? And that is life's cruelest trick. And then, as you said, living in the present. This movie is really about living in those moments. And speaking of that ending, yeah, I don't know about you. I came out of that ending. I was not happy. I was not hopeful. I was not like, yay, we changed the world. It just, I'll talk about it in the spoiler section because I don't want to ruin it, but just like The Omen, where you're kind of like, it's taboo to be like, kill that fucking kid, right? This ending feels almost taboo in a way because the script gets the audience to this point where it's like, is it so great? And we'll definitely talk about that. Um, but you mentioned, what was his name? Brian?
Brian Higgins. Yeah.
Okay. So you mentioned that Brian had felt maybe manipulated about this, and I can see where he's coming from because all of the important moments happen between Cooper Hoffman and the David Jonsson character.
Yeah.
And there are these long monologues. There are three of them where it's like, pay attention, audience. This
Yeah.
is what the movie is about. You know what I mean?
There
And
are
and
three
and,
specific, and they all three are very important in
and the
portraying.
camera just zooms in on
Yep.
just him and the two of them while they're talking. So I
Yeah.
can understand that. Um, in fact, I've already envisioned how this could be turned into a play. Um, And go ahead, steal it, folks. You can go right ahead and do it. But if you picture a stage that has a revolving floor that you can't see with
Hmm.
treadmills, you could actually see this as a play. And as people would die, the actors would walk and then the dead body would go through, and you could have separate treadmills to have a tank come through with the major and things like that, and it could rotate as they are walking on this treadmill. See, I've done it, folks. Credit me, okay? So it does feel like a play because it's all just dialogue and walking. So I can see why Brian thought that he was manipulated. But again, it's all crafted very beautifully. We don't know what time this is. We can see sort of like the working class and the poor on the outskirts. And then we also see like smaller towns and people like saluting them. And it's kind of like, why are you
Hmm.
doing that? You're local police. Why you're saluting? And I think that speaks obviously to the authoritarianism and the structure of everything. Um, but man, people need to see this. They do.
Yeah.
It's magnificent. The youngins need to see it too. It's really it has a lot to say about life, and you know, the only things that are guaranteed are death and taxes. So there you
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
It's a powerful one, and I'm glad that we're on the same page. I was wondering if you were going to be on the same vibe as I am, but yeah,
Yeah.
I'm taking what you're giving me, and I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
So
Maybe it's just because I was just in love with Cooper Hoffman and watching him.
the acting, man, the acting is
It's
so great.
extraordinary. David Jonsson and Cooper Hoffman. I mean, I'm gonna give the edge to Jonsson because he has a lot of legwork. He has a lot of legwork in this story and in this structure. But man, Cooper Hoffman, I am ready to eat up. Well, I won't complete that sentence. I am ready to watch everything that he is in.
Yeah.
It's just, but everybody else in this, the young Asian guy, Charlie Plummer is a piece of shit. And
Oh
I
my
absolutely love that
gosh.
he could convey that, even though he's like this pretty blonde guy. The Native
Yeah.
American guy is great. I should mention that I think the other reason why Brian probably also didn't like this is because it's an allegory. Every one of the characters represents someone in society, right? So
Yeah.
we've got the working class person who wants to write so that he can tell other people the future about it. We've got people who are doing this just, you know, for the money or what have you. And then
Yeah.
so each person represents an archetype in society, and I can totally see why it's like, oh, okay, you know, it's like the
Yeah.
Poseidon Adventure or how people react to like trauma or things like that.
And he lived in Northern Ireland during the Troubles, so I think it's also hit a little
Oh
for
yeah,
him
definitely.
with
But
that kind of regime.
even as people, even as characters react to things, and even as they have their final ticket punched, haha,
Oh, the way they said
the
that too.
ticket,
Yeah,
and then
the
oh, you'll
ticket.
get your
Oh,
ticket, and then it's like, oh, they're punching tickets, folks. That's what they're talking about. But even as each one reacts to it and how they go out says something about the types of people in society. But it's
yeah.
just such a strong work. I hope to God there are Oscar nominations on
Yeah.
this.
So
Everything
good.
Everywhere All at Once for this. It really um it deserves it. In fact, I Best Picture, baby. Here we
Yeah.
go. The Long Walk.
This is the kind of movie that's made for Golden Globe wins, I feel like, especially because of its coming from a King work. So I definitely think we can get some screenplay
Definitely some
nominations at
Globes,
least.
but if the substance taught us anything about an Oscar
True.
nomination, I am hoping that this
Yeah.
again, Everything Everywhere All at Once nominations for this. It's a strong piece of work. So,
Well, Stephen King, when he got involved with this, he said that because initially the rumor mill was that this was going to be more of a PG-13 Hunger Games-esque type. And he said, you need to show the kills. Like, if we
yeah.
don't show the murder and we don't show the deaths and we don't show the blood, it's going to take away from the emotion. And that
Oh my God, that first
death,
kill.
holy shit. That
Christ.
paints everything right there.
I
Wow.
I was like ready to just kind of like I will just shut my eyes and listen to dialogue from now on. Like that was a
Yeah.
lot. That was a lot. We'll also mention something else in the spoiler section where I was like, didn't have that on my bingo card for a movie. But anywho, so
Yeah.
hard
I think
watches for both of us.
we'll get into the shit when we talk into the spoilers a little bit.
Yes, we certainly will. Okay. Here we go. These boots are made for walking, and that's just what we'll do. 'Cause in 3 seconds, we're gonna spoil the long walk for you.
That's great. See, I had a different long walk song. I had Jill Scott's "Let Us Take a Long Walk Across the Block Where We Get Shot."
Woo! Okay, spoilers. So do you want to set up the ending for the friends and listeners?
Yeah, I'll spoil the whole damn thing, right? So, like we talked about, our leads are Hoffman and is it Jonsson? Was that his last name?
Jonsson. Yep.
Jonsson, yeah. And they played Garrity and what was Johnson's last?
Oh my
McVries. McVries. Is that what they call them? McVries?
McVries.
McVries. Yes. Yes.
McVries.
So Garrity and McVries is what they go by. So of course, they're our heart and our soul. They become really much best friends throughout this. They're the first two people we kind of see together. But what we find out throughout the film is they all are there for different reasons, right? So through time, we find out that McVries basically has lost his parents during the big war and then went off to an abusive family member and had kind of been living, homeless and kind of on the streets for his life. And he really, again, have no choice. There is a discussion where Garrity's like, yeah, all of you had a choice to do this, but the reality is we didn't. Did you ever know anybody who ever didn't put into this lottery? No,
Right.
everybody did, because there's a chance, there's a hope. Again, the fascist country making them believe that they could do this. So you
Yeah.
come to realize that Garrity is not a fan of the long walk and Garrity is not a fan of the major. So through his communication and dialogue, well, what we find out, as you discussed in the non-spoiler section, is that his father was teaching him some of the old ways through some books that were burned and
Banned
media,
books, songs,
music, things that have been banned about rising up, basically. That's what you can tell. So, and anyways, his father was caught, and we get a one only flashback sequence of his father getting caught by the major, and his father gets killed in front of him by the major for indoctrinating his son with I don't remember exactly what they call it, but basically they were indoctrinating with banned.
It was something like basically bad education that they
Yeah.
taught like inflammatory or illegal material. But
Yep.
we should mention that since we're talking about choice, and that's another aspect of the
Yeah.
of the story itself, is that we do in fact have choices, and those choices
Yes.
do have consequences. But the father is told, surrender to our regime and apologize and say, I was wrong for teaching my
Yep.
kid this,
Basically stop or die.
we're gonna fucking kill you. And then he turns to his son and he says, keep doing what you do, remember me. And then he
Mhm.
says, I will not submit, and he gets executed in front of his son and his wife. And so go ahead. We learned that Garrity,
Yeah, it leads him to his whole purpose of being there is revenge. He's there to win the whole thing, and you get a bunch of money and you get a wish, and your wish is granted, whatever that wish is. And his hope is that they will give him one of the guns that they are all getting killed with, so he can take it and take out the major, and basically get that revenge.
so McFreeze, as the monologue sort of develops, is he wanted to do something basically for the greater good. Like
Yeah,
he
get back
wanted
to the homeless and
he
stuff.
wanted to give back to foster kids and orphans, so that there wasn't a system, where anybody would have to experience what he did. He
Mhm.
wanted to do something like that to change the greater good. And there is a monologue where he and Garrity are talking about the fact that he's like, that's vengeance. I hope that if you do win, that you choose love, right? And that you do not choose vengeance. And
I
so
know.
What happens at the end?
Well, at the very end, of course, we kind of all knew what would happen is that our two leads would be the last two. It's pouring down rain. And then for a second, McVree stops and Hoffman's character, Garrity, goes and grabs, he's like, no, man, we can't do this. We have to do this together. He pulls him. And then as McVree is walking, he stops and he knows he had his last warning. There's this warning system, 1, 2, 3 warnings for your shot.
Right. And
then
you can walk
undo
them off.
those. Yep. For
Yeah,
an
so
hour.
every hour goes by, a warning goes away, and we know they're both on their final tickets.
They're both on their final ones. And McVree's got his final one and he pulled him out and then pushed him forward. And then in the end, Garrity stops. And one thing before that is we see several of these characters get to the point where they start to lose their minds. They start to lose reality.
Right. No sleep.
There's no sleep, no eating. I mean, they're literally shitting themselves. I mean, there's some nasty shit scenes where, I mean, this is the kind of film where you would wonder, like, how is this going to happen? How are they going to piss and shit? And they show you how they do.
So that's what I didn't think was going to be on my bingo card. A poor kid in the beginning pulls his pants down and it just ends up like shitting.
He has the worst diarrhea
style.
He couldn't stop and he didn't want to walk in it. And then
what about the agony of getting a bullet in the head while taking a fucking shit in the middle?
Diarrhea in the middle. And then of course you see McVree's like walking backwards, pissing. So there's all sorts. We see the knit and grit of this again, right? This is not your clean, sanitized, bloodless Hunger Games, folks, which is what I thought we were getting. So this is very much not that. So in the end, McVree's makes the decision because Garrity gets shot that he's not going to act in love, and he acts in vengeance and takes the gun and does indeed shoot the major. We do see where it kind of got led up to that because we see the Native American guy take the gun and actually kill somebody before he goes out. Oh, and we didn't even mention like the other character that is there for the major.
And so what got ruined for me was the headline that I had read said, newcomer Garrett Waring discusses season 2 of Ransom Canyon and pivotal role in Long Walk. And I was like, fuck. Yeah. So it turns out that Garrity is there because he wants revenge for what Major did to his father. But what we come to understand is that Garrett Waring, so I had mentioned this before, that everybody is kind of an archetype of society. So Garrett Waring's character is like the buff guy. They're like, oh, I guess that guy works out or whatever. Yeah. And what's curious is that he mentions as he's walking that he's never been sick in his entire life except for doing the long
right now.
And he's like coughing and sneezing,
he's so sick,
turning into like walking like fucking Typhoid Mary, basically. And as they're coming, it's the three of them. He mentions that the major is not the pinnacle of this authoritarian system. He's not somebody to look up to because apparently he's knocked up a ton of women and has like 26 children and
a bunch of bastards, as he called himself.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm a major bastard, whatever, right? And he's like, and I was here, but I kind of knew that was going to happen because when he walks up to get his number in the beginning, the major goes, "Good luck, son," and he's never said it to anybody else. And I was like, oh, well, there you go. But he, it turns out he's a bastard son, and he says to them, do it, get back at them, fuck this whole thing,
I think initially he wanted to be the winner and prove to his dad and be his, and then eventually it was like, fuck this shit.
Yeah. He was like walking slowly, pacing himself, not talking, staying on the outskirts. Like, so clearly he was like, I'm in it to win it or whatever.
He was in it to win it.
But speaking of the Native American gentleman who charges at them and then tries to kill them, again, that's a different archetype. That's somebody who on the fringe decides to become, in current parlance, radicalized and just do something.
Just do it.
Visceral and violent and right there. Like that's that, right? And then, there's
Plummer's character. Let's talk about Plummer's character, who felt a lot of guilt because he was harassing another young guy, kind of giving him the shit. And he's making fun of this guy whose name is Rank.
Yeah.
Like, your mother named you Rank? What the hell? What kind of person are you? And he got upset and they
Yeah,
started
and
to fight.
the Plummer's character is like homophobic. I bet you like sucking dick. I bet you got that scar sucking dick. Like that's his whole thing.
Yeah, just
And then
an
this poor guy Rank gets shot because
They
he
got in a
gets
fight
so
and he fell
enraged.
down. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Well, actually, what happens is he charges at him. Plummer gets out of the way, and he falls and scrapes his fucking
Oh,
face.
that was brutal.
There's this huge, and then he can't get up, and they end up shooting him.
And that was the death that we talked about where they hit him in the side of the jaw, just goes, Chong!
The whole face gets blown out.
And then
it's
everyone's like, you fucking murdered him. You killed him.
yeah,
And so he lives with this guilt the entire 5 days of this walk. And by the very end, that guilt consumed him so much that he
Yep.
took his life by police, is how they say it, by knowing he was going to get shot by breaking the rules, and ran off the course, which got him shot. So again, we're seeing all these people going through their trauma created by this fascist regime,
Yeah.
and one by one getting killed based off their trauma and getting into the system again, because he gives into the fucking system by doing what we don't want him to do. It's got
Plummer's character, he's like, not to use another lightning bolt figure type, but he's the Alex Jones. He's the one who comes out and says all this bullshit, right? Puts people down, and then a horrible tragedy happens and he fucking doubles down. And he's like, keeps talking his shit, and then at the end, he's begging to be included. Please tell him I want to do this. Please tell him I'm not such a bad douchebag or whatever.
And then
he
begging for forgiveness.
just keeps mouthing off. You believe me, I didn't kill him. You believe me, I didn't kill him, looking for validation. But then he just keeps talking his shit.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So the thing about the ending is, and these were the things this is what I was going to talk about, this polarizing ending. And the reason why it's not so hopeful is because, first of all, Cooper Hoffman's character gets shot. And what is so abhorrent is that you hear the people, yay! They're cheering, like, yay, there's a winner, somebody got shot, or whatever.
And the major only shoots the very last one. He does not kill anyone else throughout, except he is the one who does the very last.
So he gets that
in front of everybody,
pleasure, right,
in the city. Yes.
While the camera is on, right?
And I'm sure that's when he goes and lays his women who love him, his groupies.
Jesus God.
Every year.
And so for me, the reason why the film's ending is so polarizing is not only do they cheer when they execute him on live television, but man, I have never had such negative feelings over the song America the Beautiful than I did when it's played here.
Yeah, what the fuck? That was so...
He dies, there's a winner who's crowned, they play America the Beautiful, and there's fireworks. Yeah. And man, it is not a good feeling that I get from that fucking song.
Yeah. And the way that the fireworks is shown with the rain coming down in his face is just so in agony. God, this movie
never would I have thought when they played that music that I would ever have negative feelings, And then what's even crazier is, so I saw it in open caps because it was the only early movie. So the captions are coming up, right? The song America the Beautiful starts to phase down and out of the soundtrack as they're singing the lyric, da 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 da, Pilgrim Feet, or whatever, and da 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 or whatever. And I was just like, oh my God. And then when he kills him, when he shoots the major, and he doesn't give in to love, he doesn't respect Cooper's last wishes, which were, as he's about to get shot, Cooper says, I got it wrong. Like basically saying to him, please choose love, don't choose vengeance. And he goes and does it anyway. And that's why I was saying that this movie really punches home the fact that, like, humans are going to do what humans do. We've got our lizard brain. We've got our emotions. We have the ability to think and to say, let's do these better things for the greater good. And in fact, the lizard brain, like Dexter, wins out. And we're just going to go with vengeance and repeat history the whole time. And so that last shot is of him walking down an empty street in the rain by himself. It's not a hopeful ending.
No,
It literally
no.
says we'll just keep doing this until either we wipe ourselves off the face of this fucking earth or we decide we can do better
Yeah.
and we can, interconnect and aspire to things. Oh my God. Crazy, crazy.
Yeah. And with the week we've been given, that ending was like, God damn.
It's not what I wanted.
It's not what you wanted because, again, vengeance and killing is not the answer. And I think that's loud and clear what this movie is about.
Yeah.
So kudos to everyone involved.
And I mean, listen, at the end of the day, okay, he shot the major.
Mm-hmm.
I bet it didn't make him feel happy.
No.
I bet a week later, when he's got all of his money, he's like, what did I do?
Yeah.
Let alone the
Yep.
fact that, like, if the major's dead, pretty sure there's going to be another fucking major. Okay. And then what consequences would that have caused for other people?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's,
So, and this comes out literally the week of the Charlie Kirk assassination. And
Yeah,
this is the ending that we get. It's like, gosh, dang. It's like,
I
that's and people keep making these choices. And it's almost like he did kind of get radicalized in that moment of everyone cheering. And you could see the anger in his face. It changed.
but that's that emotion piece.
Ah,
And people
yeah.
just can't, our youth today, and I'm not specifically talking about the 22-year-old suspect, but our youth today, they don't know how to deal with these emotions. And they see these things on social media, this in the moment, immediate kind of thing, and then they just act, which is, it's what this whole movie is about and how that ending is. And it's just, what are we going to do? What are we going to do with our future generation that can't deal with these emotions, doesn't know how to reach out and help, doesn't know how to ask for help before these kind of violent things happen? And then it begs the question, well, who is to blame for this?
Yeah.
Is it the individual? Is it being radicalized by the left or the right? It's just, in a way, it's a curse and a blessing that this film is released when it is.
Yeah. True.
But let's hope it changes hearts and minds. You hear that phrase a lot, hearts and minds or whatever. Let's hope that this changes hearts and minds and that young people see this and realize, oh my God, what are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
What are we doing?
And I mean, it hit me, like you said, when they were cheering, it brought me back to social media that day when half of my social media is like, woohoo, the Wicked Witch is dead. And the other half is like, we shouldn't be celebrating death. And I'm definitely on the other half. And so it very much felt like that, like people celebrating this death it's like, and I get it. And so many people who are doing that are people I care about and I love and I understand. And we get emotional in these political episodes, but you have to
human to want.
It is human to want to feel that. Yeah,
absolutely human to. And I'm not saying like
it's so easy to get caught up.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's okay to celebrate anybody's death, but it's a human emotion to be like, I really didn't like that person. But it's just like all of that just came crashing home. And the fact that you could readily see the footage of Mr. Kirk dying 15 years ago, I never would have thought that.
No.
If, going back to The Running Man and watching that, and I remember joking and being like, you would never see this on television. How could this ever be network television? And now it's a reality.
Yeah.
Right? I think
people were sharing that video. Even you and I talked about it. I was like, I know where the video is. I accidentally clicked on it, like literally right after it happened. I'm walking to get my kids and boom, one of my friends messages me and it's like, holy cow, man, something crazy has happened at UVU, which is like 40 minutes south of me. And I was like, what?
And then another friend. You hit play.
Oh, you hit that Twitter. I'm like, what is it? You hit it. And I didn't think I was going to see an assassination and zoom in like someone from the second row, probably 10 feet from this guy. Of course, there was a million different angles and everyone saw it in different angles and in 4K. That's what's so sick and gross. And this movie really does show that we're living in this society right now. And if we don't change as a country and we
Yeah.
don't start valuing humanity over demonizing the
Opinions
other, that's what we
over-
do.
Yeah.
We want to demonize the other instead of looking for the humanity. We have
The
to stop that.
differences.
We
The
have to
fear-
stop
the
that.
dread, the dread of difference is
Yeah.
such a crazy human emotion that we need to corral. Like this movie, this cannot be our future. It cannot.
No, we've
You
got to
know?
stop it and we got to do it now. Again, get out there and see this, folks. I mean, this is
Yeah.
important cinema. And it's going to make you feel you might end up hating it. You might end up getting angry. You might
You know what? I
even
dare
get bored, but whatever, you're going to
Yeah,
feel
you might get
something.
bored, you might get angry, you might look the other way. But I dare say that remember the day after when that movie came out and we got like letters like, please, either don't watch it or watch it with your parents and then discuss it.
Hmm.
I think if appropriate, a parent should go with their child to see this and have a discussion afterwards.
Yeah, I think so
know?
too. And for a lot of kids, I mean, I talked to many of my kids. What happened with this Charlie Kirk is like their challenger. Like a lot of them hadn't seen this, and they
Yes,
were like
completely.
seeing death right
Yeah.
before them. Again, we're in a different time right now, and people seeing this stuff, little kids, unfortunately, my 14 and 16-year-old, same thing. They had no idea what they were seeing, and they were shown it. And after I went and saw this, I told my kids, I was like, this was pretty deep. You're
Yeah.
going to see it eventually, but not right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really tough. And I had replied to you that I had thought about it. I was like, am I going to watch this thing? It's everywhere. Am I going to look at it? And I finally was like, okay. And I hit play. And each time that the moment happened, my phone glitched and it skipped ahead. Even at the second close up at the end of this clip, the phone glitched and skipped ahead. And I was like, I'm taking that as a sign
Yeah,
from
yeah.
whomever that I should not be watching this. And
Yeah.
so I didn't. But yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it's awful.
kudos to everybody for this film because
This film is important given the time and given what we're going through right now. So yes, ballsy.
yeah, way ball.
Kudos. This was. And to continue just to release it. I mean, we saw during 9/11 that people were pulling movies and stuff so I mean they very easily could have pulled this last minute, but they didn't. They continued to go forward with it, and it's an important message. And it's not doing bad. It's making, I think it's supposed to make about 10 million bucks.
Yeah.
For some reason,
Undone by a fucking anime.
what is this thing? I mean, I saw the first one, which was fine, but 50 or 60 million dollars for this anime? Oh my God. Insane,
What are
brother.
we doing wrong? I don't know.
I don't know.
Anyway, but yeah, definitely. I think this was Lionsgate, yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
distributed this. But yeah, kudos to the distributor and the studios for releasing this and not saying, we're gonna pull back or something because
Yeah.
it sure happens to other films and projects and television shows.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Okay, that was super deep and heavy. Do we want to do pluses or do we just want to? I don't know. It's up to you. Do you want to do a plus? Go for it.
I've got a plus.
Okay.
But yeah.
Go for it. You start. What plus do you have?
Oh, I only watched one other movie all week, and
Yeah.
I might as well just plus that. So last night, I think you might have plus this in the past or we talked about it, but I finally got to Andrew DeYoung's Tim Robinson, Paul Rudd starring Friendship.
Oh, okay. Yeah. What'd you
I
think?
mean, what a dark slice of absurdism that I just love. And you did plus this, right? Or we talked about it off air.
Well,
I can't remember.
I mentioned that it had landed on streaming.
Yeah.
I had not gotten to watch it. In fact, my plus is going to be what we watched instead of Friendship. So anyway,
Ooh, okay. So yeah, Friendship is what I saw. First and foremost, if you don't know who Tim Robinson is or his style of awkward, cringe comedy that's very much inspired by the likes of Tim and Eric and other Adult Swim type stuff.
and
then
even your guy, the rehearsal guy, Nathan Field.
Yes,
That's-
Nathan Fielding. Very much like him. This guy is a weirdo, and him and Andrew DeYoung got together and created this weird, dark, cynical movie about how desperately we need friendship and how desperately we need to have other people in our lives. And if we don't have other men and other friendships in our lives, everything else around us kind of crumbles. And so we meet this character played by Tim Robinson, who is kind of a loner, kind of a weirdo. You know, of course you see in the trailer, he's all excited for the new Marvel. Hey, there's a new Marvel. You want to go see the new Marvel? It's supposed to be, I mean, it's supposed to be everything. It's everything, man. The new Marvel. You know,
Oh,
of course,
Lord,
his wife
I
is like,
identify.
his wife's like, no, I don't want to see the new Marvel. And you could tell that, and she's kindled a friendship with her ex-boyfriend, and which you, of course, you kind of have ideas of where that's going. And basically, Tim Robinson's life is going down the shitter, and he finds a new neighbor played by Paul Rudd, who is a struggling TV weatherman who just got a promotion to the morning weather show, and he's all excited about it, and brings Tim to one of his friendship groups, and they kind of get along, and you think everything's going well, and they do this little fight club thing at the end where they start to box, and Tim accidentally punches Paul Rudd out in front of all of his friends. And that was that. He is no longer invited into that friendship group, and that Tim saw the light of what friendship could be, and then had that door shut on him, and then we see his spiral. So the rest of the movie is this dark,
Wow.
dark spiral through mental hell that this poor guy goes through because he just doesn't have anybody. He doesn't have any friends. He doesn't no longer has a wife. His kid doesn't respect him, and it leads to some wild shit in the end. This is one of those movies that you're either going to love or hate. It's a comedy in as much as you're not going to guffaw. It's not like Naked Gun where you're going to be laughing your ass off. You aren't going to really laugh. You're kind of more like, ugh. Oh, okay. Oh my, okay. You're kind of a cringe laughing inside a little bit, but you're just shocked and in awe of every absurdist dark moment, one after another, that poor Tim Robinson's character goes through. Again, great stuff. If you're a fan of A24, you love absurdism, you know, like we talked about, the likes of Adult Swim and Nathan Fielding, this is for you. But if you don't, then you're probably going to hate this. Andrew DeYoung, director, writer of this, he's up and coming. Definitely a voice to look forward to hearing more stuff. I mean, very similar to the guy who did Greasy Strangler. I think that this is an auteur. Andrew DeYoung is someone we're going to want to watch in the future. So again, Friendship right now streaming on HBO Max. I highly recommend it. It is definitely a watch for me, starring Tim Robinson, Paul Rudd, Kate Mara, Jack Dylan Grazer. Very good stuff. Yeah, Jack Dylan Grazer plays Tim Robinson's son, and Kate Mara is his daughter. And yeah, neither of them respect him.
I love JDG. He did that Luca Guadagnino TV series on HBO that he was in, We Are Who We Are. Oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
So fucking good.
Yeah,
Yes, there's penis in it, but it's a good movie.
yeah, he's a great little actor, and it's this is what it is. So go see Friendship if it sounds like it's for you. But if you don't like Tim and Eric and you don't like absurdist humor, this ain't for you. But it was
This
very
ain't
much for me.
you.
And I think you will like it if you give into its dark sense of humor.
Scooter saw the trailer and he was like, "You can watch that on your own."
Yeah, I thought the same thing with my wife. She's like, I don't think so.
Yeah. No, not really. Okay, so instead of Friendship, Scooter and I actually rented something. So this is currently on PVOD, pay video on demand for rental. Yeah. It was like a $10 rental. So I was like, why not?
Yeah.
I don't know why this doesn't have a theatrical birth. I was that bowled over by this movie. Now, before I talk about the movie, I will say this. Very predictable. Okay. I think we all know where this is going, but the way that the film is shot and how it's shot and the script, really, really great. So I am talking about She Rides Shotgun. This is 2025. This stars Taron Egerton.
This did play a week at my theater, by the way.
Did it? Okay.
Yeah, I played 1 week here, like about a month and a half ago.
Bollocks. So it stars Taron Egerton and then a young lady named Anna Sophia Heger. Maybe it's Hedger. Now, so the logline goes, And this is really heavy stuff too. I was like, Jesus Christ. Like, I'm like, we can't get away from. So we had just seen The Long Walk, and I was like, oh, are we gonna watch the Red Sonja remake? And I was kind of like winking to Scooter, Red
Come on,
Sonja.
Scooter.
And then I was like, are we gonna watch this like She Rides Shotgun like thing or whatever? And he goes, I feel like Taron Egerton would have more value. And I was like, ugh. So anyway, so here's the heaviness of it. The logline goes, a girl marked for death must fight and steal to stay alive, learning from the most frightening man she knows, her father. And this is an adaptation of Jordan Harper's award-winning novel. Um, so yeah, heavy stuff. Basically, if you think about this, this is kind of like The Order because Taron Egerton plays a father who just gets out of prison. And he is part of this like skinhead white nationalist like meth cooking operation. And when he gets out of jail, basically his brother has been killed. He and his brother run afoul of basically this Aryan meth organization. And so the film kind of is like it's a cross between The Order, the recent Nick Holt, Jude Law film. It's a cross between The Order, Out of the Furnace. It has that kind of like homegrown intensity, handheld kind of feel to it, and Lone Wolf and Cub. Yes, I said it. Lone Wolf and Cub. Okay.
Okay.
Because literally there's a scene like in Lone Wolf and Cub where the father's like, well, you get to choose. You can go to the police or you can hang out with me and try to survive. And I think we all know what she chooses, folks. But so if the screenplay or the movie has any kind of flaw, it's that this little girl's performance is so good. I think they say she's either 9 or 11, but regardless of her age, she's obviously much more mature than she should be. And so there are lines of dialogue that come out of her mouth where I was like, really don't think an 11-year-old is going to ask that. But in much the same way that Natalie Portman's character is wise beyond her years in The Professional, also known as Léon, directed by Luc Besson, her performance is so good and so captivating in this that you just kind of go with it. You just kind of be like, this is not a typical 11-year-old. But there are some really great action sequences, some tense stuff in it. Other people in the cast whom you'll recognize, Odessa Azion, she has a brief role in this, Rob Yang, David Lyons, and then one of my favorite actors ever. I'm in love with him, John Carroll Lynch. He's from Virginia. People will know him from like he was recently on Blue Sky. He's a great character actor. But man, this is a tense, violent ride with kids in peril, which is completely taboo. It is written by the director, Nick Rowland. He's a British guy. I think his only feature before this was a film called Calm Before Horses. I have not seen that. It stars Cosmo Jarvis, who I am obsessed with. Great actor. That came out in 2019. Also starring in that is Barry Cogan or Keegan. So some really good stuff. It got some
Yeah.
like nice notice to it. So this is his second film, but it is written by Ben Collins and Luke Petrosky. So they also wrote Super Dark Times, which we talked about
Oh,
before,
yeah.
The Night House, and the Hellraiser reboot for Hulu, which is
Oh,
much better than some people are
yeah.
giving it credit for. And then another additional writer is a gentleman named Jordan Harper. He's written for Hightown. He was a consulting producer on that, but he also wrote for that series, the podcast series, and Now We Drink, and then Gotham, and he wrote The Mentalist, basically the TV show.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, please check this out. It is so worth the $10 rental. But it also has one of those endings that's really gut wrenching.
Mm.
And again, this kid, Anna Sophia Hedger, you are gonna fall in love with her, and her performance and the ending will destroy you. So please check this out. I don't know when it's gonna arrive on streaming, but Taron Egerton is also a EP on this as well. And I'm so sad it didn't get a theatrical birth because it it should be seen too. Even if it's predictable, it should be seen. Roland is another director that we are going to need to look out for because he's great. So, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, it looks like it played at two theaters here. Played at my Regal and at our downtown art house for like 1 week.
Oh, for like a fucking week. Like what the
Yeah,
hell?
1 week, and I think it was in the beginning of August, I think is when it came out.
Jesus Christ.
I do remember seeing the trailer because I was like, ooh, I think I was trying to talk you into us doing something different.
Oh yeah, you know what? I think it was the week of Americana. She Rock
Yeah,
Shotgun.
I think
yeah.
it was that came out. And I was interested, so now I'm even more. So thanks so much.
Oh, it's good. Everybody should check it out. I think our community in particular may really,
Yeah.
really love it.
Well, I think
So-
we're out of the doldrums of summer now. I think we're getting into some Oscar time, some scary movie time. Let's talk about what we're reviewing next week.
We are gonna do Him,
Yes.
HIM, and this. A lot of people are like, "Ooh, Jordan Peele! Ooh, Jordan Peele!" Calm your nuts, folks. He's producing it, and his
yeah.
company Monkey Paw is behind it, but it is directed by a gentleman named Justin Tipping. I'm not familiar with his work.
Yeah, nope.
One of the Wayans is in this as well. I keep trying to avoid the trailer because I think the last trailer gave away too much. But it looks very
Yeah,
much
I
like
saw the last trailer and it did give away too much, but I'm still excited to see where
I'm
they go
excited
with it.
too. It looks very much like the NFL meets the substance for men.
Yeah, yeah, it's
there
about
you go.
selling it very much looks like it's like selling your soul to the devil for fame is what it looks like.
Yeah, with some crazy. I'm getting an Upgrade vibe.
Yeah,
Also
totally.
from it. Yeah.
Yep. And then the week after that, we have a new PTA, One Battle After Another, that is getting so much hype. It's
I'm
already being
so
all
excited.
guaranteed to get like I read one review that said if this doesn't get 8 to 10 Oscar nominations, it's absolutely baffling. So there's been a lot of hype. Steven Spielberg
Yeah.
called it one of the movies of the decade.
Stop.
Yeah. So get ready for One Battle After Another. So we got
Well,
him
listen,
and then that. So yeah,
Listen, all I have to say is I am here for fat Leonardo DiCaprio.
you love them
fucking
thick.
Love me some chunky Leo.
Thick Leo.
Chunky Cooper. Anyway, okay. So yes, that's going to be great. Hopefully we also potentially may have one or two guests for him because I know somebody was very geared up to make a return to our podcast. So
Yay.
just a little surprise going on there. Okay, so if you love us, you will also love our Podfathers, The Gentleman's Guide to Midnight Cinema. I recorded recently with them, and we reviewed the first film for their Queer Pride series, and that was Stranger by the Lake, which is very Patricia Highsmith, talented Mr. Ripley, Strangers on a Train, but with a gay pornographic bent. And the reason why I say a gay pornographic bent is because there is a lot of frontal nudity and there is unsimulated sex in this. So, but it is well worth seeing. Even with all of that sort of like explicit material, it's a good one. It's a good one, folks. And then,
Nice.
of course, our other Podfathers, Not a Bomb. I had guested on Catwoman. I can't remember what they put out recently. It might have been Tommy Boy, actually.
It was Tommy Boy.
Yeah. It was Tommy Boy. You'll also love Night of the Living podcast, Wild Dream podcast, Death by DVD, Raiders of the Podcast, Backlook Cinema with Zoe. We keep threatening to bring him on. It has not happened yet. It will. And now for something a little bit different with the two Johns, and their Toxic Avenger episode is now finally out. We take on the original, but then we also have a discussion about the new reimagining, which is also worth it. Speaking of films that get 1 week in the theater and then disappear, which are good, please check that out. Definitely. Caliber 9 from Outer Space, Feminine Critique, Talk Without Rhythm with Goro. Mike, are there any parting thoughts left? Because we have gone everywhere in terms of how to be a human being, the future of our world. What do you have?
All I'm going to say is humanity over politics. Always, always, always think about humanity. I love one
Please
another.
do so. And this time I promise not to forget how to say this line. But as always, be kind, be open, be vulnerable. That is where the art and the heart is.
Yeah.
So there you go. All right, folks, we will see you next week for some him action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Football. Let's go.
Woohoo!